Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Nick Hamilton here. On this episode of the NH Experience, I have two of the most talented producers in all of music. They've been part of history. They've worked on the late great Nipsey Hussle's Victory Lap, as well as other projects for other various West Coast artists and other artists in general. So we'll get into that, see what they've been up to, and how they've been handling this whole COVID-19 quarantine. We'll get into that. I'd like to introduce my special guest, the one and only Mike and Keys. What's going on, fellas? How you guys doing?
What's going
Great,
on?
great.
Hey, man, thanks for joining me, man. I know we all been going through different phases with this whole COVID-19 quarantine, so I appreciate you guys coming on.
Oh yeah, no problem. Thanks for having us.
Oh, of course, man. This is
You know you family.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. We've been talking about this for a while, so I wanted to get you guys on, especially now because you guys got some really new hot projects coming out. But I want to talk a little bit about before the accolades, before the hot projects that you guys were a part of, and the history that you guys are a part of. How did you guys get together, and what made music so essential for you all as far as becoming, top-notch producers?
How we started together was we formed a group called the Futuristics. It was like five of us, and then we started in like 2008. I would say that would be like the foundation, the year, and we just love music. I was on MySpace putting out beats, and a site called Rock Battle was ran by a producer named Rock Wilder, and I was just selling beats, being in beat battles. People knew my name off of that, off of the internet, off of doing the beat battles and selling beats. So I met Mike through one of my friends that was on
One of the
Rock Battle, and our boy Phonics. He was a part of the group as well. And then it ended up just being me and Mike at the end of the day. So we just continued the team.
Mm-hmm.
No, man, that's awesome. I mean, I remember the Futuristics. I remember hearing that name a lot. I think I came on social media like probably around the MySpace era, getting into
Yeah.
like, Twitter first like popped off, like it started to really be a part of a new platform. To see how you guys elevated from that point, from how technology has changed drastically from the MySpace time to where it is now. How have you all been able to sustain yourselves and not lose yourselves in the technological revolution?
Well, for us, we came in the technology, like when technology started really jumping for music. Like I remember when we first moved to LA, we were like some of the only producers using laptops. All the older producers were still using the older equipment. So, we already knew that's where the music game was going. They say digital, analog sounds better, but the music game with digital. So we just like, we got to be a part of the digital world, because, with Napster and LimeWire and all that, it's like, you got to be in the computer world or you're going to get lost. And we was right. The whole music industry is based off of Fruity Loops. Like majority of these kids now use this program called Fruity Loops, and the whole industry, everything you hear on the radio is that. So we was like, we're gonna adjust to the game, or we gonna be dinosaurs.
Definitely, everything definitely changed on the digital side. So had to adjust, like he said.
Hey man, Darwin's theory of adaptivity. You got to adapt in order to survive. You guys have
hmm
done a masterful job in doing that. You talked about moving to LA. Where were you guys coming from in order to move to LA?
I was coming from Sacramento, and my first the reason why I came to LA because I went to the LA recording school
Okay.
in 2005. I graduated from there, and I went back to Sac, and then came back to work with Mike and Phonics to form the group, and that's pretty much how I came about to be in LA.
I was I went to school in Fresno. I went to Fresno State for 2 years. And one of my roommates was from San Diego. So I moved to San Diego first. That was my first introduction to Southern California. I moved to San Diego, and then eventually I came to LA.
Nice. Well, obviously that move has definitely paid off for the both of you. We talk a little bit about the music game, obviously. How did you all meet up with the late, great Nipsey Hussle, and how were you all able to build and cultivate that relationship and that trust? Because obviously we all know it's a trust between producer and artist. How were you all able to do that and sustain that and turn that into a friendship, or dare I say a brotherhood?
Well, first of all, the dude Keys told you about Phonics, that was the original member of our group, the Futuristics. He was already Nipsey's producer.
Okay.
So he really brought all of us in to meet Nipsey and work with Nip at, like, when Nip was signed to Epic Records. And then we met Nip, but we didn't really work together. I think Nipsey might have bought a beat from Jay Keys like a long time ago.
Yeah, for like $200. He bought a beat off. Yeah.
A long time ago. And then I just remember we would always hit up Nip and send him music at this time, but he was really trying to figure out where he was going to go in his career. And 1500 or Nothing Lawrence reintroduced us.
Yeah.
Like, these are the guys I've been telling you about. And the first song we did together was Check Me Out. And that, like, started everything with us and Nipsey. Like, that was from that day on, Nipsey was like, I'm never leaving you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, Nip was like, that's our sound right there. Check Me Out, we got to stick with that. Like, that's the sound we got to move with. So that started a whole lot.
When you guys were in the process of helping put together Victory Lap, did you know how big of an impact that record was going to be at the time when, like, once you guys kind of finished putting everything together?
Nick, I ain't gonna lie to you. And me and Keys is probably the only people that felt like this. Like, we always knew what it was gonna be. We was just wondering if it was gonna come out.
Yeah, that was the only thing.
That was always like is this coming out? Like, cause Nip, man, it's like, you never know with Nip. You never knew. Like, even with the Crenshaw, like, we was with him every day and we didn't know he was selling that CD for $100.
Right. We didn't find out until the whole public found out.
Yeah, we found out just like the public. So with Nip, we was like, man, we didn't know it was gonna come out until once we got to the studio to mix the album with Ali. We was like, it's coming out, because it's it was like $300,000 spent on the studio budget. So we was like, we're going, the pressure started getting put on Nipsey. So he started putting pressure on us to get it done.
Yeah.
So we was already ready. It was more like, what you want to do, Nip?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely, man. He seemed like a very innovative and a sonic visionary type of person. I mean, when you listen to a lot of interviews, obviously you guys have been around him more intimately, so you guys have been behind the scenes with him. But how did that all help you all creatively as producers, being around another creative individual like Nip? And then you also mentioned Mixed by Ali, who's big time when it comes to engineering and mixing records.
Yeah, I think Nip, his whole vision, he wanted to make a classic. That's why it took so long, because he was like, this is gonna be my first album, so I want people to know Nipsey Hussle. Like, I'm not worried about the songs on the radio. I'm not worried about the hit records. I just want people to know who I really am. That was his vision. That was his whole vibe. So, I'm just thankful.
I feel like everything changed for Nipsey when, in music, when you working with an artist and a producer relationship, it's like, Nick as a basketball player, and if a player doesn't trust his coach, vice versa, it's not going to work. So Nip trusted us with his music to the point to where he didn't have to be there for us to finish it.
Yeah.
And I felt like that's when everything changed. It's a relationship at this point, and in a relationship you have to have a lot of trust.
Oh, absolutely. So how did you all, I mean, I feel like when I hear you all talk and I see you guys, I see 1500 nothing, I see, Mixed by Ali, Soundwave, and Willie B and and Tay Beast and all these producers. I feel like you guys are like in one big high school class, and then you guys just graduated and did some masterful things. How did the connection come between when you talked about working with Mixed by Ali, who again is a great engineer, great with mixing records? How did that relationship form?
Well, we've known TDE. It's crazy. So Phonics was also the producer for TDE when TDE first started.
Okay.
So we met J-Rock, Kendrick, Top, the whole crew, Ali, early in their career before it was the TDE that you see now. So we did a song with Schoolboy Q on his first ever mixtape. And Ali was always around. So, we all kind of grew up together in the music industry, literally together. Mm-hmm. So it was just a matter of time before we actually sit with Ali and do the album, because that was our idea, to have Ali mix the album. We told Nip, he's the best guy for the job. He's from LA. He's a Grammy-winning engineer, and the main part is he cares. When you care about your craft, it always is going to be successful if you care. A lot of people don't care, believe it or not. They make it look good, but they don't care.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, that was
so
a wild.
I feel like Nipsey seen Ali. Nipsey never got his music mixed, mastered, none of that before. So that was a new process for him. So him seeing Ali, be the next level professional that he is, that changed Nipsey's whole mentality on how he creates.
You guys have been producers for a long time. What is the difference in your estimation between a producer and a beat maker?
That's a good question. I think just being a producer, you're involved with the artist more. You're not just sending him a beat through the email or through text. You're really involved in the creative process. Mm-hmm. You're bringing people in, writers and musicians and all that. You're really hands-on involved. That's what being a producer is to me.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
A beat maker is just someone that sits at home and make beats all day. You don't have no communication with nobody. You just send beats and make beats all day. But a real producer has it. To me, the best producers are ones that have relationships with the engineers.
Yeah, the engineer, yeah. The engineer is really the most important.
Yeah, so if you see majority of the producers, the ones that are successful, you got to see who their engineer is, because that matters.
That's a great point.
Kendrick doesn't do nothing without, Ali is part of Kendrick's life. Just like Nipsey's engineer G. Yeah. Nipsey did not do nothing or go nowhere without G. If Nipsey going to a hotel, he bringing G with him. If he going to the park, he bringing G with him. Yeah. I feel like the engineer is not really talked about. You could do your math. Look at Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones, right? Quincy Jones talks about, you take the engineer out the equation, there's no Thriller.
So who are some of the producers that you all admired growing up or looked towards growing up?
I would say Jay Dilla is one of them for sure. Jay Dilla and Timberland, Dr. Dre. Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, that list is crazy.
Long.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent out there, man. Especially in the golden age of hip hop era, the guys you mentioned like Timberland, Dre, Quick, Daz, a lot of Eric Sermon. I mean, there's so many producers that come to mind. But when I listen to you all, I feel like you all tell a story before the artist even gets on the record. Can you talk a little bit about that process of how you guys curtail records to specifically fit the artist?
I think it's just having a relationship with the artist. I'm gonna be honest with you. If we didn't know Nip, that album never would have came out.
Or it wouldn't have sounded like
him.
that either.
Yeah, it wouldn't have sounded like that, and it wouldn't have been what it was because we had a communication level to where we, you know, it took us like a year to really understand what type of person Nipsey was as a producer, you know, because it, you know, working with artists is not an easy thing because they change their mind every 20 minutes. So you have to really mentally be prepared for, you got to be prepared for that. It's like, you know, knowing the fundamentals, like, you know, me and Keith, you know, I come from a basketball family. So no matter how skilled you was, you better have, your fundamentals better be on point.
I noticed also you guys worked on Jay Stone's project as well. How was that process of working with, going from obviously from Nipsey to now going with working with Jay Stone, who's a different artist, but yet still in the same family with All Money In?
Well, to be honest with you, we met Jay Stone the first day he got out of prison. Nip had him with him.
Okay.
The first day he got out of prison. We didn't even know who Jay Stone was. And Jay Stone pulled me and Keys to the side and was like, go hard on Nipsey. Like, go hard on him. Like, don't let him sleep. Don't let him do nothing. So when Jay Stone told us that builded our relationship with Jay Stone. Plus, we all had a studio together. So we like, you know, we like whatever Nip doing, we doing. So if Jay Stone's All Money In, we doing whatever Nip is doing. So anybody from All Money In, we gonna treat them the same. So that's how our relationship started with Jay Stone.
How did you guys look at him as an artist?
I was definitely say, you know, as an artist, he's just like he's real lyrical, you know what I mean? And you know, I love how his cadence is on beats. It kind of reminds me of Nip, like it's the same type of flow. So it was always easy making beats for him as well. Like Jay Stone sounds dope over beats.
And Jay Stone just a good person. Like he always just showed us a lot of love. So it's like me and Key's always been the person. We love those that love us. So on top, we always had a lot of love for Jay Stone because he showed us love without even knowing us. So
yeah, he seems like a really down to earth good brother, man.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is. I can see why him and Nip was best friends from childhood. I can understand why Nip had Jay Stone or vice versa. Because Jay Stone was rapping before Nip. I don't know.
Okay.
So they used to record each other, you know, coming up. So that was Nip's like sparring partner when it came to rap music.
Yeah, for sure.
That's dope, man. So I know you guys talked about basketball. I know you've been trying to get on me. So I'm not going to let you leave out. I'll talk a little bit of basketball, a little bit of NBA. I know you guys been wanting to get on me about some stuff. I know. I felt the vibe, man, when I jumped on here. I just tried to smooth it out a little bit. But, you know, obviously we don't have the NBA season right now. It was halted abruptly due to the COVID-19 outbreak. But what are your thoughts on the do you think we'll have an NBA season? If so, would the Clippers and Lakers be on a collision course to the Western Conference Finals in your estimation?
Well, to first start off, when we first came on your radio station a long time ago, we talked about the Lakers. I think you remember.
Yeah, I remember, man.
Ain't nothing changed for us as far as like what we think. Like, you know, the only thing I was scared about really was Kawhi Leonard, you know, with the Clippers.
Right.
But I think when the Lakers are on, they're unstoppable. I don't care what nobody says. And, you know, I always felt like it's just like the Jordan effect with LeBron. If everybody follows the lead, they win. Mm-hmm. They got to follow the winner mentality. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like now the Lakers were playing like they want to win a championship to me.
Yeah.
I can just, you know, and it starts with defense. I look at them trying to play D. And once you start carrying on defense, defense wins championships. So I'm still sticking. I feel like the NBA got sabotaged with the Lakers is just such in a good energy, man. It threw me off because it's like, I don't know what it's going to be now.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny, man, because I was actually at the last game before the season got called, and watching that team, even though I know they lost to the Brooklyn Nets that night, but the juggernaut they had to go through between the Milwaukee Bucks and then facing the Clippers less than 48 hours after that and still being victorious after that kind of showed me a lot, not just about LeBron James and Anthony Davis, because we all know how Anthony Davis and LeBron is, but I mean the rest of that team, because we've been asking them, the whole time, hey, man, who's going to be that third person that's going to step up, or who's going to be that third party that's going to, be impactful. And I think we kind of saw a plethora of guys in that third role be impactful. I mean, before the halt, I thought the Lakers were definitely the momentum team. I thought they were the team that was, on their way to the NBA Finals, especially how they were playing in that second half of the season with, just 19 games left. I thought they were definitely going to be at least, I called their record. I said, okay, with 19 games left, I said, well, maybe they'll go, 13-6, which is still good. But now, if they decide to resume the season, which I doubt, but if they decided, I said, well, with all the rest happening with the injuries that the Clippers had to sustain throughout the season and lineup changes, now it's like if they go straight into playoff mode, it's hard for me to bet against the Clippers in that defense.
And
yeah, and their bench too. Their bench is really nice too.
I just know outside it, I think LeBron is just, he gonna will it. I just,
Yeah,
it's LeBron. It's like
LeBron.
I Jordan.
I just remember that I will never forget that 3-1 down 3-1. I will never count out LeBron James ever again. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's hard to count out LeBron. And speaking of which, we talked about that. Y'all check out the Jordan documentary?
Yeah.
And we got the whole thing.
You know what? I knew I should have called y'all earlier, man. I knew it I should have came by the studio and said, let me sit on out with you, man. I'll sweep up.
Yeah, no, we got it. Whatever I'll send it to you. We got it though.
I just like it though.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm the biggest Michael Jordan fan. Like my room in elementary school, I mean, in my mom's room, and like it was bad. Like I didn't, like my mom be like, "Why y'all spend money on Jordans?" I said, "You bought us Jordans. It's not, it's not my fault." So
it was that narcotic. You got his hood.
Yeah, I'm the biggest Jordan fan, so I ain't gonna lie to you. I couldn't wait, Nick, to watch it. I ain't gonna lie. I could not wait. So I literally watched everything last night.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I didn't know about Jordan, like the whole Adidas thing, and like that really shocked me. And how they did Scottie Pippen, man, I didn't know they did him like that.
You know what? It's funny. As a kid, I watched that era because I was too young to watch the Showtime Laker era, but I was just old enough to kind of pay attention to the '91 Bulls and then watch their rise, through the ranks. And Jordan was always my favorite player, just the way he defied the odds, the way that he would defy gravity. I mean, the ultimate made me a fan is when he was in the finals and he switched hands in the air and then laid it in. I was like, there's nobody greater than that. I don't give a damn what nobody says. Now, and then I got my first pair of Jordans at that same year. So,
it's tricky for me because my uncle played at McNeese State with Joe Dumars. So him and Joe Dumars are best friends. So me as a kid, I went to a lot of Detroit Pistons games, because of Joe Dumars. That's someone, we knew he was a family friend. So like me being a Michael Jordan fan and them being like, we gonna shut down Michael Jordan tonight, as a kid, I did not comprehend that.
That's crazy. I mean, my first NBA game, my mom somehow got tickets to the NBA Finals when the Pistons played the Lakers in '88.
That's classic. That's classic.
And we were sitting with the Lakers, like where the families of the players would sit. Oh, dude, it was like being in the Forum. It was epic. And that's the days when you can like sneak food into the arenas. And Mom's was like, look, I'm not buying you a whole lot of nothing. We're going to get this food. We're going to put this in this purse and we're going to sit down.
Yeah.
Is that the year when Isaiah Thomas shot the shot with the one leg?
You know what? I got to go back and like I said, I
That's
was
a
6.
classic time in basketball. That's like one of the most classic times in
Yeah,
basketball.
dude, I was just so enthusiastic about being at the Forum, like with the Lakers and Magic, like at 6 years old, and I still didn't understand it, right? Like I still didn't fully understand it, like I said, until later on when I watched the '91 Bulls play when I got a little older, and it was like, okay, now I know the impact of basketball.
Mm.
If that was a year, damn, I had no clue.
Because nobody gives Isaiah Thomas credit, but he beat Michael Jordan, Magic, and Bird.
I know.
Nobody never gives him credit for that.
On my other show, The Opposite Reaction with my co-host Jackie Ray, we talked about was Isaiah too arrogant for Michael Jordan. That was a topic because the way that Isaiah would I mean, he won back-to-back championships. He beat up on the Bulls. I mean, they knocked Michael Jordan around like a ball on the pool table, man. It was bad. But Isaiah kept woofing after the fact, and Jordan was like, "Man, I didn't beat you." So
yeah,
now what?
I don't care.
Yeah, it's like now.
Isaiah, they made when you finish the documentary, you're gonna see that Isaiah Thomas and them made Michael Jordan who he is today.
Absolutely. Sure. I like Isaiah. I mean, I had a respect for. I didn't like him back in the day, obviously, because he was the bad boys. Two of my teams that I liked at the time was, got beat by him. But I always had a respect for Isaiah. I always kind of felt like Isaiah didn't get his just due. And then obviously him and Magic fell out. Jordan and him never really got along until later on. It was just he just got caught up, man. It was probably, dare I say, a victim of circumstance.
That's the little guy. See what happens when you're the little guy. See how they treat the little guy.
But see, y'all not the little guys though, so I don't know how y'all would know anything about that. Y'all are major. Y'all are big time.
Man, listen, I know as being a point guard, I know what it is to feel like Isaiah Thomas and have that fire and be that's what Nip loved about us is he was like, man, y'all quiet, but y'all fire is just through the roof, and I felt like that's me personally. My fire came from that, like, coming from, me being from Louisiana, Karl Malone, all these guys like Paul Mills, like I come from you have to play hard. Like you might be better than me, but you're not gonna outwork me. And I feel like that's what the NBA is missing right now. That I feel like the NBA. That's why everybody says the NBA is soft, because I feel like the new guys got the money and it's like I don't have to work hard no more.
Yeah, it's very few guys that you see. Like, to me, I love guys like Ja Morant. I think Ja Morant is a guy that reminds me of a young Kobe. He goes at you straight up, no fear. He's going to bring it the way he's going to bring it. And if you don't like it, too bad. Deal with it. And that's the one thing I love about Ja Morant. And to me, that's why I said to me he's Rookie of the Year. But at least for this season, I know it's cut short. But at least for this season,
he played hard. He played real hard.
What did you guys?
He's my favorite player. Out of the rookies for sure.
Oh, top notch. It's interesting because I made a comment before and I said, LA has really gone through a lot in the last year and a half. I mean, we lost Nip, obviously. We lost John Singleton. And then most recently, we lost the late, great Kobe Bryant. What did Kobe Bryant mean to you both? Not just from a basketball standpoint, but just from an individual.
For me, I think Kobe represented hard work. Like, I would always remember that about Kobe. Like even when he first came to the league, he came off the bench. He wasn't a starter, so he had to work his way up. And I really respect that part of him, is that Mamba mentality. Like he works. He worked so hard to where I saw in the interview with Kenny Smith, this was on TNT, he was like, he worked so hard to where the greats look at him is like, you're actually doing that? Like, that's something I wouldn't even do. Like, you work too hard. So I definitely respect that about Kobe, is his work ethic. His work ethic is ridiculous. And that's inspiring to me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for me, my dad, when Kobe got drafted, my dad said Kobe was better than Michael Jordan. So
Whoa.
There's always been an argument in my house about that. Like my dad's always been the guy like seeing it first. And I'm like, what are you seeing that I'm not seeing? You know, my dad played, he was the top basketball player coming out of Louisiana.
Okay.
In high school. So he knows a little bit about basketball. I come from a real basketball family. And when he said that, I didn't comprehend it until now. You know, like after the fact, and I'm like, my dad was like, he has the same mentality as Michael Jordan, Mike. And I didn't, like, in my house, my dad always thought Kobe Bryant was better than Michael Jordan, even when Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan. So I've always had I guess you could say a love-hate for Kobe because I love Michael Jordan so much. But then him and Michael Jordan are the same player. They're the same person, like
identical,
same everything. So I had to love Kobe. And then when Kobe embraced LeBron, that right there sold me.
Yeah.
Because everybody talks bad about LeBron so much, like he don't work harder, he don't put in work. And that's what I'd be so mad about is like, you guys talk about LeBron because he puts in the work.
Mm-hmm.
So does Kobe, so does Michael Jordan. That's why everybody only talks about those three.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, without question. I mean, LeBron has always been a hard worker. I think it turned off some people because they had crowned him, I think, a little too soon.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I think that took away from people paying attention to how hard he does work. What he puts his body through, how he has to juggle so many things off the court. Much like we saw with Kobe do, much like how we saw Michael do. But you guys also have a lot of new projects that you all are working on. Rather, talk a little bit about that and who you're working with, and when will we see these projects come to fruition in its fullness?
Well, our first thing, the first thing we got is our group, Facade Records.
Congratulations.
We got a group with Damo Genesis. Damo's from Our Future. We've been working with Damo for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And we just decided we together every day, we working, and you know, we just kind of wanted to do like what Primo did. What was Primo's group called? Yeah, Gangstar. So we're basically like Facade Records is like the new version of Gangstar, you know. And that's kind of like what we've been working on for like the last year secretly. And now we just dropped our first song officially yesterday. Well, today. It dropped today officially.
April 24th.
Summer 09, yeah. And then we have our first artist, you know, as a producer. You know, they say you're not a real producer until you put out an artist. You know, that's like the, you know, it's like winning a ring for a producer. Like if you can't put out an artist and him be successful, then you're not really a real producer. So we're putting out the first artist that we're working out with named K Franklin. We've known him since he was like 14 years old. And we about to just go full force. Put the same energy that we put in the Nip, we put into him, and that's like been our real major focus right now, is just putting out our own music. You know, it's good when you work with other artists, but putting out your own music it's a better feeling.
Absolutely. That's great, y'all. Congratulations again. I mean, you guys will work hard. You definitely earned it for sure. Two quick things before I let you guys go. In today's climate, with everything that's going on, we see a lot of effects in the world before the whole COVID-19 happened. How important is Black media, especially in you all's line of work, being producers, being in the music industry and the entertainment industry?
I feel like it's everything, especially right now. What I'm seeing with Swiss Beats and Timberland doing with the producers and them going live and like everybody being inspired by that, it just lets me know like Black people have way more control over the entertainment industry than we think. And it bothers me that no one's taking the initiative to really piece it together. It's like we get to a certain place and Black people get to a certain place and then we be like, we start looking at each other like, do I trust you? And I feel like that's the only thing we're missing. because we have so much control over the world and we're not doing it. And it's almost frustrating. That's why I have so much respect for LeBron James, because they didn't let the managers and the owners and them control them how Scottie and Jordan got controlled at that time. So LeBron and them took career, and they crew are black people. So that lets me know that we have way more control, and I believe in the black culture more than anything if everybody else believes.
Yeah, part of that, just to add on to what he said, part of that culture is hip hop music, and hip hop is, the most influential genre in the world. So, hip hop isn't just music either. It's like the way you talk, dress. I feel like in sports is hip hop as well. Like basketball is a form of hip hop, baseball, football. It's really influential in a lot of ways. So, black media plays a big part in that as well.
I think, yeah. And we got to embrace it. Like, we got to embrace the black media a lot and give them the exclusives and do that. Like, we can't go give it to other people. We got to give it to our people, first. Me, I'm from Louisiana. So like, I've always had I know my history on black people, meaning like, in the South, what people don't know, there's over 500 black colleges in the South, but nobody don't never talk about these things, so we have to, I always tell Keys, I feel like music is going to be our stepping stone to go do other things to help other people. I feel like that's what we were brought here to do. Like, God gave us talent to do music, but we got to go help our people, Like, I really believe in that. And that's what Nip did. That's all Nip cared about. He didn't care about nothing else. I got to put my people on first. I don't care about nothing.
That's the one thing I said about Nipsey, is that beyond I thought he was a talented music artist, but I really respected his business acumen and the way he went about building up his community. He wasn't one of the ones that just wanted to take and not replenish. And you saw that, even not just him, but his brother Black Sam, his whole family with All Money In, and all those brothers and sisters over there that are doing, still continuing to keep the marathon going, such as yourselves. You see the ripple effect around that. And there's countless other artists that I've seen do that, and even in, athletes and things like that. But I agree with you. I think if we as black media don't get the access to be able to tell your story the way, in the words that you want to say it in, then how can you be upset, or how can you say, oh man, they doing me dirty, when the other side does you dirty? You can't really play the victim because you had an opportunity and you shun the opportunity.
Exactly.
I 100% agree with that. 1,000%.
Well, let me say this for you guys, man. I am extremely proud of both of you, man. I've known you guys. I've had the privilege of knowing you guys for a good while, man. And I appreciate you all. I thank you for taking time out to come on this platform to showcase and share your stories and really just have a conversation with me and those who are watching. Let everybody know where they can continue to follow you on social media and keep up with all the work that you all are doing, man.
You can follow us on Mike _N_Keys on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We finally got a YouTube page up with, content of, unreleased videos and music and stuff. So we just, like, for us, we just getting started right now. So we appreciate you giving us the opportunity to talk about things that we're doing, because, we really feel like we just getting started as, Mike and Keys.
Yeah, that's dope, y'all. I look forward to seeing y'all documentary like 10 years from now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Funny,
yeah.
That's we've been working on it right now.
Yeah.
Because we had a good 10-year relationship with Nipsey, and there's a lot of things people don't know about Nipsey. Like, what you see, being with him and seeing is two different things, and it's like we're gonna be very happy to, you basically getting the exclusive right now we're going to be dropping a Mike and Keys documentary, you know, definitely featuring Nipsey, and everybody's going to really get to see, you know, the real.
Man, I can't wait. I'm sure the fans can't wait. I know it's going to be authentic because you guys are actually down in the post with him, and especially with All Money In and the family. So I'm looking forward to it, man. But continued success. Definitely keep me in the loop, man. If you guys have anything new going on, you know me. I'll make sure I do my best to try to put it out there and get it out there and get as much traction as I can.
Man, thanks for having us again, man. Really appreciate
that. You already know, Nick.
Hey, man, anytime, brother. You know, I got to catch up with y'all once this quarantine is over with. We got to definitely catch up.
Oh, yeah. We already told you. As soon as it's over, you know, you got to come to the studio and, you know, hang out and check the vibe and just, you know.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much to my established guest, Mike and Keys, producer extraordinaires. And make sure you follow me on all things social media at Nick Hamilton LA. This concludes our episode of the NH Experience, a weekly conversation in the journey of your favorite artist, athlete, entertainer, politician, maybe. We'll see. Y'all stay tuned. Take care.
Thank you.